Welcome to Mr. Beefy's Boxing, or just Beefy's Boxing, where we cover all kinds of boxing news and boxing subjects, where we have the meats by the pounds and covers the fights by the rounds. Before we jump into the video, be sure to like and subscribe so we can get the channel out to as many as possible. Now, on to today's topic. So, we gotta talk about the results of the big clash between Fury and Makhmudov and the whole card. It was a good one. I knew it was going to have the potential for being a good one, and it was. So, the first fight, Clark versus Hooney. Hooney ended up winning, and this fight, it ended up, I think it kind of cemented Clark, his status on where he's at on the levels. And I think British level, I think that's going to be it. Almost a gatekeeper level. But round one, Hooney did some good counters and a nice short uppercut at the end with some nice body shots. Clark threw some decent hooks. Round two, Clark stayed defensive, it seems, most of the round. But Hooney stepped up with the pressure and body shots and a lot of slick counters. Clark, he ended up missing a lot of shots that round. Round three, Clark seemed to have slowed down a bit, and Hooney landed like 3 clear right hooks and controlled the range the best for most of the fight, most of that round. In round 4, Clark threw a mean uppercut and a few good combinations that wobbled Hooney the last 15 seconds, and the ref almost stepped in. Almost. Hooney should have clinched, but he tried to avoid the assault and tried to do some evading. And for the most part, I guess he survived. Round 5, Clark's team told him, yeah, you can hurt Hooney now. You know, they felt now would be a good time to ride off that momentum. But Clark ended up losing the momentum. Hooney landed some great meaty body shots, and he threw a low shot, but Clark was okay, so nothing came from it. At the halfway mark, most people agreed that Hooney had the slight lead. Round 6 was fairly even, with Hooney just edging it out. Clark did pick up the last 10 seconds and could have nicked that round. Round 7, Hooney's mouthpiece came out, and Clark's movement was really good. He looked like he was very light on his feet that round, and you could just definitely tell like the conditioning that he put in for this one. It looked really good then. In round 8, Hooney landed a double uppercut and threw some hard hits in the pocket. Hooney hit with a good counter right after evading a few jabs from Clark. In round 9, Clark ate some solid hits, but he kept control and distance for most of the round. Hooney threw some hard counters and some good shots right down the middle. Round 10, the final round. It was even for most of the final round, but Hooney, he could definitely been seen as edging that one out. And by the end, Hooney ended up winning by majority decision. Now the next fight, boy, this was a good one, and it looked painful. Jamie TKV versus Richard Riakporhe. It was TKV's first title defense. Round 1, Riakporhe landed a good uppercut. Both fighters ended up tripping over a little bit. Riakporhe landed a few mean overhand rights, and TKV stayed on the back foot most of the fight. Round 2, Riakporhe had a mean stiff jab, and it looked like it busted TKV's nose. And fuck, every time he threw that jab, it was so stiff and just mean. It looked like it hurt. Every shot that he landed just looked hard. TKV looked rough by the end of the round. Round 3, Riakporhe just maintained hard shots and landed a mean straight right down the middle. TKV did slightly better but failed to move Riakporhe barely at all, and the power difference really shone. Round 4, TKV started strong, and the ref ended up taking away a point from TKV for improper head use, as it looked like he was going in with his head a lot. TKV threw a nice right hand, but he failed to follow up with anything else significant. Riakporhe ended up landing a really hard right overhand, and that was probably the best punch of that round. Round 5 came. Riakporhe got a knockdown with a hard right hand. He tied up and TKV got slung down. Reactport lands a straight and overwhelmed TKV, and the ref steps in just a little too early. A lot of people all agree on that. Maybe a few more seconds, but the referee looked like he was ready to end it within those last 30 seconds or so. He was just looking for a moment to jump in. But it just looked like a one-sided beating majority of that fight, and the power just really shone. By the end of it, you could definitely tell who lost and who won. And now we just got to know, is this going to be worthy of a step up to world level for him, or is he going to go for another lower British opponent, or just kind of, take the title defense route and just work that for a little bit. Now, Conor Benn versus Regis Prograis, the co-main event. It was a decent fight. Ben really showed that he just has a very, very aggressive style all throughout the whole fight. And round one, Ben started aggressive. He locked up a lot and showed the power difference. Ben slid to his knee, but it wasn't called, and buckled Prograis right around near the end of the bell. Prograis was slow, but he did throw a lot of hard shots. It kind of just shown where, age is picking up and catching up with him. Round two, Prograis kept the distance and traded jabs a lot with Ben. Ben missed a lot of good shots, and you could tell a lot of energy got wasted with them. They ended up locking up, and Prograis slipped during a throw, and Prograis used his experience kind of just to evade and control that round. Round three, Ben came on strong. Prograis showed a mark up under his eye. It looked like a mouse was slowly forming. Ben worked the jab a lot and really established dominance with it. Both of them were very good at just a quick jab, counter jabs, and evading. A lot of head movement from Prograis. Round four, Prograis landed a good left, and it looked like it gave Ben a cut under his eye. Prograis stepped up pressure, but Ben, he maintained a good jab, and it was shown that the cut under Ben's eye was made from a headbutt. Round five, Ben pummeled Prograis for most of the round. Prograis did land like some okay single shots, and a lot throughout that round he was shaking his head and just eating the jabs, trying to just woo the judges in the crowd as if it wasn't hurting him, but his face was looking pretty mollywopped. Round seven, some body shots shook Prograis, and Ben stepped up the pressure with some mean, strong, meaty shots right to the ribs, and an uppercut shook Prograis just slightly. Prograis ended up covering his body a lot more this round, and you can just tell he was not feeling those body shots at all from Ben. Round eight, Ben threw a lot of combinations, and Prograis looked very worn down. Ben landed a good body and then to the headshot. Good, nice combination. And Prograis landed a nice left right at the end near the bell. Round 9, Ben opened up with some quick left jabs, and it seemed to slow Regis down a lot. In round 10, Ben ended up making Regis slip. There was an accidental headbutt, and you could just see that Regis' breathing just got a lot heavier. His mouth was open. He was covering his body a lot more. And he showed a lot of heart and shined in moments, but ultimately, Ben controlled majority of the fight, and he ended up winning by unanimous decision. Okay, now the main event, the big boys, Fury versus Makhmudov. This was, at first I really thought we was going to possibly get an upset, but then things kind of got set into motion and just stayed this way. But anyways, round 1, Makhmudov kept smothering Fury with just his size and a flurry of punches. He would just lunge at him with just 1-2s, wide hooks. Fury ended up working the outside of that round and like the later half of it, the last half of the round. And Mudov, he ended up tanking a lot of it. Round 2, Fury worked the jab and moved better. And Makhmudov, he tries to rush, and he threw some wild punches and slipped into the ropes. And Fury ended up tapping him really, really good with a nice counter. And it looked like there might have been a cut under Fury's eye at this moment. Round 3, Fury peppered Makhmudov with some combinations, and Makhmudov ended up slowing down. He looked like he was getting tired at this point already, and he tried to continue the same moves with Fury, just rushing him down with wide hook shots, and Fury seemed to adapt with the right range and maintained, a good distance, like mid-range with Makhmudov. Round 4, Makhmudov did open up strong with a strong left hook and clipped Fury. They did then slug it out for a good bit, and Makhmudov looked like he got the better of it. Fury ended up tagging Makhmudov with a good straight 1-2, and it was probably one of the best hits of the round. Round 5, Fury landed a lot of body shots, and like Makhmudov, he ended up throwing some wide shots, and it started looking like Wilder all over again for a second. Fury locked up with him and just started landing some great lefts and worked the hell out of the sides of Makhmudov. He ended up working the body majority of the round. Round 6, Fury established the jab, very comfortable. He looked comfortable, and at this point, it almost became the Fury show 100% of the way, besides a few little hiccups here and there. Round 7, Makhmudov did get some good shots, and he landed a nice short uppercut, but Fury just continued to work the body, and you could start seeing then Makhmudov started covering his body a little bit more, and he started breathing a little bit heavier. Round 8, Makhmudov threw a hard lunging shot, but Fury just continued to pepper him, and landed a good left that stumbled Makhmudov. Then Makhmudov caught him with a good counter, but Fury recovered and reestablished the jab. Round 9, Fury's right eye started looking a little swollen. Fury continued to pepper Makhmudov majority of the round and clinched. Fury almost knocked out Makhmudov's mouthpiece with an uppercut through the guard. Round 10, Fury lands a ton of jabs on Makhmudov the first minute of the fight, and Makhmudov loses his mouthpiece. Fury pushes Makhmudov and he goes down to his knee. Makhmudov ends up eating a hard 1-2. In round 11, Fury landed some nice 1-2s, and it seemed like Makhmudov ended up doing a lot of clinching. Fury did do a lot of flicking of the jab, and the commentators started questioning it on the legality of it, and a lot of them were agreeing that the shots looked legal, but the referee wasn't calling them. Fury landed a mean uppercut right to the body of Makhmudov, and then another one right to the head. And the last 5 seconds, Makhmudov ended up getting rushed down by Fury. Now, round 12, Fury just worked the body really hard. He lands a nice right uppercut. Makhmudov took all the shots very well, and they slugged it out here and there throughout the last few seconds of the round. And then the final 5 or so seconds, they kind of both call each other out with their arms, and it ends with Fury taking it fucking comfortably. It seems like after, round 5 or so, once Fury got really comfortable, he just continued to maintain the fight. And what was great after the fight, he ended up calling out AJ. He wants AJ next. AJ didn't give us a definitive answer. He practically said the next fight would be with Fury, but it wasn't a solid yes. But Fury made it very public. He wants Anthony Joshua next. Anyways, let me know below. What do you guys think? Did you watch the card? Who was the best fight? Well, that was the final bell. The video is coming to an end. Before we end the video, I gotta say one more time, thank you so much for watching. Remember everybody, it's all about attitude. There is no progress without struggle, so stay in there. I've been your host, Mr. Beefy, and you all have been fantastic.
Enjoy Mr. Beefy. You're known as the Beefy.